Hi guys, this is Barb with Lost and Floss. This is my 48th video. It's August 21st, 2020. I'm in northern Wisconsin enjoying the nice outdoor weather tonight. The little breeze going. Hopefully it won't get too loud out here or too buggy and I'll have to go inside. But right now the guys went fishing and so I thought, I'm just gonna get outside and get some fresh air and show you what I've been working on. I think it's been a couple weeks. I had my 5,000 subscriber giveaway and all winners have contacted me. Most of the people, other than Donna, should have their items. So if that's not the case, please let me know. And I'll try to find my tracking numbers. But hopefully they made it through to you because it was a couple weeks ago that I mailed this stuff already. So, life update, up north again, enjoying nice temperatures, but it's gonna get hot again. So we're almost on the verge of leaving to go back to our regular house. So that'll happen soon. But I thought I'd do hopefully a quick video and let you know what I've been working on. So last video, and I will insert right here a picture. A picture of an item that I bought at a thrift store in Waukesha, Wisconsin. I would love to know who stitched this piece. I mean, we all talk about the legacy we leave with our stitches. I was in this store and found a motherload of like things all kitted up with floss and charts and linen and whatever, and then there were also a couple pieces that were fully finished, and I was like looking at the piece, and at first I was like, I love the stitch part. I wasn't sure if the color of the frame, if I was sold on it. I was thinking more of a navy, but the longer I had it in my possession, the more I knew it was just perfect. Anyways, a lot of you were wondering what the chart was, and I did some digging. I think there's on Facebook, there's a Star Spangled something or other group that you can belong to, and someone had posted a picture of the stitch, not mine, but you know, she had done it herself and had the name with it, so that led me on the trail to get more info on it. Anyways, it's called Vedic Glory. The designer is Susan J. Heiss, Heiss, and originally I saw it online two ways. It came originally, I think, from a book entitled Portrait of the Civil War, number 119, and it was put out by Jeanette Cruz Design. And then later on eBay, I saw it as a kit. So if you're searching, you know, maybe you'll find it one of either way. So the longer I've had it, the more I love it. It's just really a beautiful piece, and as I said, I would love to know the history of the person. If anybody knows a former or a stitcher or someone who got rid of their stuff probably like 2 years ago, it just makes me feel good that I am now the trustee of this beautiful stitch piece. So develop a legacy plan for your items because you don't want them to end up being sold for like $7 at Goodwill. At least I don't. I thought I would show you a couple fall pieces that I started last year, and it was with the intent that I wasn't going to finish them last year. I thought I'd start them and see how far I got. And this video is going to be, I don't know, kind of messy because like none of my pieces are stitched. I forgot my normal boards that I clip my things onto so that the light doesn't shine behind. But I have my stitch thing, which, as you can see, pretty bent up. But anyways, I was working on Autumn Time last year by New York Dreamer. And you know how I love this series, so pretty. I did end up changing around some of the colors, and I still need to tweak a little bit, but this is how far I got last year. I can't see if I'm holding it up right or not. This is kind of hard because it's longer and thinner. But I just did one of the apples instead of having the red and the green, and I don't know. I think it needs something. It's reading too brown to me right now, but I'll goof with it and figure out, and hopefully I have that one done. And I believe, what am I stitching that on? Oh, I don't know. I'd have to look it up. This piece is the Scarlet House Penny Pumpkin. Many of you already stitched this, but you know, it's one of those charts, the second I saw it, I knew I'd be stitching it. Anyways, I know this one is on 36 count Nantucket Brew. And let's hold something behind it. This is how far I got with the outline. Now this is when, I mean, I'm still a newbie for 36 count. It just doesn't come naturally to me. I bought a lamp and I'm trying to, or it's a magnifier, trying to get used to stitching with that. Before that I had been shining the light over my shoulder and using the mag eyes, but I think I need a little bit something more for that. But anyways, I like how it's going. This one I'll wait to show. And speaking of 36 count and Scarlet House, love those charts. I finally am digging into American Farmhouse. This piece will forever remind me of my first trip with Leanne to Country Sampler in Spring Green, Wisconsin. If you ever are in the area and get a chance to go, stop in. Not your typical cross-stitch shop, but just lovely home decor pieces, cross-stitch, more probably primitive, quilting, just a fun place to visit. So this is how far I am with it. Not very. Oops. Here, I thought I'd be real organized, but I don't know. I've been working up here, and so, you know, you get off at the end of the day, and I just want to get to my stitching right away. I don't want to be pressing things, even though I know I should, but it's all very time consuming. So, this is how far I am. So, I've got the urn and some of the vegetation going up, and then I guess that's the start of the fence. So I love just how the white stands out on this brown fabric. I bought this as a kit from Country Sampler, so I couldn't even tell you, other than it's 36 count, what the fabric is, but I'm sure if you call there, you could get the fabric, or they could at least tell you what it is. So last year, when we were at StitchCon, we did several trips into keepsakes, and I saw this chart by Sue Hillis, Broderie à Paris, and I just loved the variegation and the ability to maybe include some vintage buttons. I just thought it was a very, very pretty chart. So anyways, I'm stitching this on 32 count vintage country mocha Lugana. And this is how far I've gotten. I love the Eiffel Tower scissors. I think that's so cool. And I'm using Belle Soie. So Nice variegation. I can see why people stitch solely with silks, because it's just, they glide through the holes so smoothly. And when you think that there's 12 strands on or 12 pieces on the strand versus 6 for the other overdyes, it really isn't that much more expensive. That's how I justify. Anyways, I love this cranberry color. I think it's just going to be perfect, and I'm anxious to work on that. Single color or, you know, 1 or 2 color stitching is just, it's very therapeutic. It's just relaxing to me. I really enjoy, you know, just trying to weave the color so that there's light dark in a section, and I find it very, very relaxing. Well, you guys know I've been working on these Prairie Schoolers, so I thought I'd work on August until August is over with, which is happening faster and faster and faster. So this is my progress so far. Another red barn. Gotta love those red barns. And I decided I would go on and stitch the rest of the corn stalks later and probably move on to the second house. Because I thought, you know, really, like, these animals are going to go pretty fast because they're all one color. So I think this chart will be a lot quicker than some of the other ones. Like, July just had so many different color changes in it that it just seemed like it took me forever to work on that one. Kathy from True Dye House gifted me this drawn thread chart the night before Christmas, after I saw hers, I think maybe on her Instagram, or she showed it on her video, but I loved it. So it was so sweet of her. So I got back to working on that because, you know, oops, love working on Christmas. And I want to have this one done for Christmas this year. And that little house is so darn cute. Just love that. I think I tweaked the colors a little bit. I know I'm using, I think, B5200 for the white, just so that the snow really shows up on this one. Then we're going to move on to, this is really out of order, but I have an FO. These are the Little House Needleworks. They're the monthly series. And they come as a floss pack, so you get the chart and the floss you need to do them as they're charted. And I think they're really cute, but I started doing them when I first got back into cross stitch like 2 years ago, and I feel like I'm not sure they would be the charts I would pick out now, but I really want to do the monthly word plays by Brenda Gervais, and I told myself that if I got these done, then I could start the word plays. Like, hopefully, maybe so I have January done for January. We'll see how it goes. But anyways, I stitched this on Picture This Plus Ren, and, well, I showed this already, right? Yeah. And this is August. I did change the color a little bit. I made the sun yellow. It was supposed to be the color of the boat and the color of the words. And then I used that color, that goldy yellow color, to go around too. I have a couple months done and I have something to put them on, so I just should get these done, because then I could start word plays, which I really want to stitch. And these really, I mean, if you work on them for a night or two, they go pretty fast. So I just got as far as July and putting one of the flower centers in. But any progress is great progress. Uh-oh. I showed this last time. This is Cinnamon Stick Christmas 8, Wishing Thee Merriness. by Sandra Sullivan. I got this at Stitchville, and I loved seeing it. I think they had it as framed, but it caught my attention, and I knew I wanted to stitch it. So those are not squirrels in his beard, they're swirls. Hope I didn't mispronounce it too bad last time. But I will be taking those swirls out and looking for a color that's not so out there. I think this was, I didn't have the called for, and I tried to get close, but this is not, it's not the look I'm going for. But I love it because it's that furry thread for his collar and his beard. But I thought I'll get some of the vine done because I hate doing vines. And then I'll go back and finish Santa up. But it's really cute. It has, you know, a lot of little extra stuff on the side that I haven't stitched yet, but this is one of my Stitch 10 in 20s on Instagram, so I really hope to get that done. Oh, I think I forgot some of my stuff. So I'm working on, let's see, I really have a lot of stuff to show. I guess I've stitched more than I thought I did. Plum Street Samplers, Home for Christmas. And this is the piece that tells me I really have to make peace with 36 count, because I love the look of the one strand, but I stitched the house with 2, and then it just looked too clumpy to me, so I took part of it out, stitched it with 1, but then there was all this, you know, extra little spots of the light color showing through. I didn't like it at all. So then I ripped that out, and this is what I have. I put it back. I still have to fix one side of the house. It was off in my counting. Can you see that? So it, you know, it's starting to get a little darker. So the house is not really showing up really well. I think it's crimson, but I like it. I think it's pretty. Then I've been plugging away at Christmas time, another one of New York Dreamers charts. And I think this is 32 count vintage country mocha linen. And this is how far I am. I changed the C because I just wanted it more traditional. I changed the colors. I'm changing the wording, which it's a little bit more work when you start to do that. And I think, you know, I was using the same variegated thread from the outside border for Good Tidings, and I like how Tidings look, but I think I need to find a deeper part for the beginning of the word good, which leads me to think I should be stitching the words in DMC so I can just get the color I like and not really have to worry about, you know, the variegation and some being too light, some being too dark. Well, okay, I have something inside I'm going to have to run and get, but I'm going to show you the stocking because I've really worked on this a lot lately. If I keep looking to the back, I know I'm talking and shouldn't have any incidents, but the other day I was standing on the deck and yes, who did I see again? Mr. Bear. Although I think this was a different bear. He wasn't as big as the first bear I saw, but he was, I think he was like 15 feet from me, and he, like, all of a sudden I heard this crash, crash, crash noise, and he was running. Like, bears can run really, really, really fast. And this time I did not take a picture. I'm like, oh my God, I know it's like the wrong thing to run when you see one, but he startled me so badly that I I just needed to get into the house, and so I went in, and then I didn't even see him again. But like all the years I've been up here, and I've only had one other sighting live, and now this year I've had two. But then we saw in the news that I guess the berry crop this year wasn't the best, and so they said that a lot of them are, you know, coming closer to houses looking for different sources of food. So it makes me a little leery. So you know, and the fact that I didn't see him or hear him until, you know, he was really pretty close, that kind of freaked me out. But I figure I'm probably talking pretty loud, so I really don't think I have to worry about him. And also, sorry, I had another haircut fiasco. You know, I lined my appointments up for the year, and usually don't have any problem, and I go and show up and they have you call. So I called, and the woman's receptionist like, we don't have you down, you know, I don't see your name. And then she's like, oh, you're on Thursday. And I'm like, not on Thursday, I'm today at 4:30. And I know she knew I was displeased. As one of my coworkers said one time, Barb doesn't get mad often, but when she gets mad, you need to pay attention. I don't think my siblings would necessarily agree with that, but so anyways, I will have long bangs for a couple more weeks yet, because she said, oh, we could, you know, you could come on Thursday. I'm like, well, we're leaving for the cabin, that's not gonna work. And then she's like, well, how about, you know, coming at 6 tonight? And I'm like, I'm already here. You know, it's not like it's that far, but it's 20 minutes, and it was just the principle of it that, and the kicker was, I saw they called me that afternoon, so I'm like, that's kind of weird, because they'll call you to remind you of a color appointment, but they never call to remind me of a haircut. So I don't know, something got screwed up, and it was just the principle. I'm like, no, I'm not I'm not coming in at 6, but then proceeded to go back to Ben Franklin and buy, you know, they're getting, their cross-stitch supplies are getting more and more meager, but things were 20% off. And so I picked up, you know, a few flosses that I know I'll use, and some linen that I thought, you know, it's not maybe quite the count that I'd like to stitch on, but I thought it'd be good to try dyeing on some without like investing heavily in it. So that was my thought. Well, I told you I was going to show you Holiday Glow Stocking. And Karen, no fair being done with yours. Come on. Someone I met last year at StitchCon, we've both been stitching stockings for grandchildren, and she's doing, or did, she probably has her back stitching done by now, but the same one I'm working on, and she had a post on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, I wish mine were done. But I have faith that this is the year, because look at, I have almost the toy, bag of toys almost done. And then, you know, I even started, because I'm like, I was really kind of afraid then that I didn't have enough fabric. Even the one day I was stitching on it, it was folded like this, and my husband's like, you're going to run out of fabric. And I'm like, oh. And then I looked at it, I'm like, no, it's folded over. I'll be fine. You know, and I am the queen of the don't leave very big margins, so. But he's looking really cute, and I really can't wait to get him finished up. I think like a lot of the body stuff here is, you know, sometimes they'll have you do 3-strand tent stitch, so it fills in and goes like lickety split. And really it's, you know, it's for shading, so like if you're 1 or 2 off, it's not really going to make that much difference. So then I should just pause this because I forgot 2 things inside. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. Can't find one of the things I'm looking for, but I'm afraid it's either going to rain or get dark, so I just want to keep cracking with this one. This is the winter chart from Waxing Moon Designs. It's a series of 3 houses. Just love them. But my problem was, I thought this, as usual, I thought this gray was going to be darker and the snowflakes didn't show at all. And so I decided to pull out the color that I used on Prairie Schooler Christmas Eve. That was perfect on the light blue, because I had tried like grays and they just looked really dirty. I didn't like it at all. So I liked it enough, although I don't think it looks like snow on the roof. But, you know, as it is, I think it's good enough. But why do I do this? Like, look at how little a salvage that is, especially on the top. I mean, I have all this. I don't know. I have to get out of that habit of trying to like conserve. And I know we've talked about it, and I think it does come from the sewing background. I've been working on Where Hearts Rust, or the nest chart, and I picked it up like, I don't know, a week or 2 ago, and I thought, oh, why haven't I stitched on this? I was working on the border, and I'm like, you know, the border's not that awful, like, why don't you go back to it? So I had 1 repeat in, and so I did another. And then I realized why I had put it down, because I was using the wrong color. It was supposed to have this darker shade, which I think I would like so much more. I get myself in such trouble, like changing colors, and this one wasn't intentional, but you know, you think it's, oh, this is gonna look better, and then a lot of times it doesn't. So I don't know, I think I should just stick with what the designer decides, because you know, they're the smart ones. They have such a sense of fashion and design and color and all that stuff. So Kathy of To Dye House and I are stitching together with a SAL After the Roses SAL, and this one's by Ink Circles. I'm stitching mine on 32 count Autumn by Under the Sea, and I love working on this, but I feel like I'm just like all over the place. Like, you guys remember Ricochet Rabbit? It's like bing, 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 bing. It's terrible. But I'm almost halfway done with this. Oh, it looks like it's gonna rain. I really hope it doesn't until I'm almost done. But look how pretty that is. Love, love, love the colors. But if you look at Kathy, she's doing hers on this soft aqua and a higher count fabric, and 1/2, I believe, and it's just so pretty. I mean, just so delicate, and where mine is more vibrant because the 2/2. And so I can't, you know, that's another reason I really want to try to get to be a, you know, 36 count stitcher. And I know 40 count stitchers become 40 count stitchers because they don't think 36 has enough coverage a lot of times, 1/2, but for me it would be good enough. Yeah, it's just kind of crazy. And I'm glad I don't know if I wore this shirt last time. I don't know. I can see why Chelsea and Priscilla wear their uniforms, because it's like, I don't know, after a while you forget what you've had on, and you know, I figure if I don't remember, how are you guys gonna remember, or why would anyone even care? You know, I mean, I don't know, but it's just one of those things. I remember my freshman year of college, I used to sew a lot of clothes, and I kept track for like 2 months of like the outfits I wore, and didn't repeat. And then it got to the point where, you know, I'm wearing things I don't really even like all that much, just so I'm not wearing the same thing, and I'm like, who cares? But then I have to thank my dear friend Lisa. she sent me some stitchy kindness to borrow. She knew how much I wanted to stitch this. Winter Rose Manor. Whoop. Guess it goes like that. Hers is just beautiful. And I want to start this on Monday. And so I called Lynn's in Madison, and they're sending me all the flosses. Should be there when I get home. And I have 2 colors coming to see which one I'll like best to stitch on. But I'm just really, really excited to get going on this one. Her Lisa's turned out just beautiful. So thank you, Lisa. She's also the one who gets my texts with, do you like this one or this one? So, what else is going on? Not too much. We had another, like, well, it wasn't a virtual parade or anything, but our youngest grandson turned 1, and so, you know, the tradition of having photographs with the smash cake, I'm like, I don't know. Although I think Leanne was ahead of her time, because I remember vividly when her twins turned 1, she made them little cakes. I think she used like some kind of can and baked them in there and then frosted each one. And ooh, I feel like it's gonna start raining. I'm gonna start tidying when I talk. Frosted each one and had like plastic underneath protecting the floor, and you know, big bibs over them, and set them in their high chair and put the cake and these little cakes in front of them, and they both just sat there and looked at them like, what are we supposed to be doing with these? It was really pretty funny. I will never forget that. But anyways, they needed a smash cake, so I made the smash cake, and then they came over for a barbecue like a day or 2 later. So that was fun. Kids played in the yard as usual. That's the story of the summer. Yeah, and that's about it. Oh, and along with it, I'm glad it's been a while since I recorded, because I had massive bruises on my arm. We went out to look at, there's a country club like a couple miles from where we are, that a lot of times they have weddings, and when they have weddings they have fireworks. And I don't know why, we always think maybe we can see them, because we never can. But the one night they were going on, and I don't know, maybe it was somebody was having a party, or don't know. But my husband went out, and it was dark out, and I went out and couldn't see a thing. But then right around the corner of the house, I could see like this, you know, glow. And I think the moon was supposed to be pretty that night. So I thought, I'll just walk out into the yard, like, and see the moon. Well, not knowing he had this vat of water that I didn't know on the patio. So I stepped right into it with 1 foot and was like so astounded, like I didn't know what was going on, and then caught the edge with the other foot when I tried to move quickly, and from then on it was all over with. Like I would crash into one thing and then bounce off that and crash into another. Like this one corner we have all, you know, plants. Some of them are in pots, like in wrought iron stands, and oh my gosh, like it probably took me 30 seconds to fall. But I finally fell on my knee, which, you know, a number of years ago already, I had surgery on, so I'm always very protective of it. Well, he thought I hit my head, so he's like, should I call 911? And I'm like, just let me here and I'll assess the damage. So after about like a minute, I got up and just iced my knee, and then, I don't know, a couple days later, I noticed like the bruises all over my arm. But that could have also been related to our floor debacle. We ripped out the carpeting in our living room, dining room, and we're just gonna do like plank vinyl. have seen some that we really, really liked. Well, he had been at Costco and said, oh, they have, you know, 5 or 6 different kinds now. It's a good time. Let's go and get some. So walked in, and there was one that I really liked. And so he's like, well, do you want to should we just get it? And I thought, yeah, let's just get it. I mean, normally I don't roll that way, but I thought, I like it. I think it'll look good with our woodwork. Well, so, you know, each of these boxes is like 50 pounds, and we need, I don't know, 26, 30, something like that. So we lift them off the shelf onto the dolly, then pay for them, dolly to the truck into the house. Open up the first box, and it's like the darkest gray you've ever seen. And it looked really pretty with the tile in our foyer, but I kept thinking, I would have never picked out this color because it just doesn't go with the other tones in our house. I liked it, but it just didn't go. So I'm like, oh, I don't know. Well, my friend came over to socially distant walk, and I'm like, just look in at this and see what you think. And she said the same thing. She said, I really think it's too dark. I like it, but it's too dark. So by this time, my husband knew that it was going back. And so we then loaded it back in the truck, and then from the truck onto the dolly. And, you know, I kept thinking, how could that color have looked so different in the store? So go to look at it again, and yeah, there's the color we like. And then look, and they had put the stock of the opposite one under the sample. So this sample belonged to these boxes, and this sample belonged to those boxes. And they both had S names, so we just had picked up the wrong boxes. But so then he's like, well, do you want to just take home the right boxes? And by this point I'm like, you know, it's a lot of work, and my knees were giving out with the injury. So we took one box home, and then I'm like, yeah, this is right, I really like it. And so then we went back and took, you know, 30 boxes off the shelf, put them on the dolly, from the dolly to the truck, from the truck to the house. So those days it was like good workout. But I stopped at the service desk, and I'm like, you know, because I didn't want to just switch the thing on. It was up high anyways, but I thought I didn't want anyone else to go through that again, because, you know, it's not like, you know, you take home the wrong pillows and you bring them back. You know, when it's that heavy and that many boxes, it was quite the workout. So that was fun. Oh, and I just wanted to mention Anna, Quilt Roadie, or Stitch Roadie, whichever channel of hers you're watching. She goes by the premise that she can have as many whips as there are days in a month. And so I'm like, yeah, that works for me too. I couldn't even tell you how many I have right now, but none of mine are older than 2 years, so I really feel pretty good about that. And I'm going with the thought that in leap year, there's 28 days in the month, so I can have up to 28 whips. I would like to keep it, you know, probably 10 and under, but I know right now there's a couple summer charts that I want to start, so they'll be like how Autumn Time and the Penny Pumpkin were for me this year, where I have a start that it's not like hard to get, you know, moving on it, where, I don't know, I don't like the starting. So I think that will be what I'll plan. Let me see. I think that's about it. We're just, hopefully this light is still good enough, and I don't have to cut out too much. The internet speed's slow up here, so this may go live tomorrow, it may go live Sunday, or it may go live Monday. So, I think I've answered the questions that people had. There were a lot of them on the flag stitch. But other than that, I'm going to go inside so that I have some stitching time before the guys get home. And hopefully, I don't know, it might be a rainy weekend, so I don't know if this is going to be my only time alone to just work on some stuff, but we'll see. But I'm going to be starting that sampler on Monday, and I'll probably post a picture on Instagram so you can see it. I don't anticipate getting too far on it, but I will at least get the first X in. As I'm going to do it as a memorial piece, and if it takes me a year, it takes me a year. I'm learning to just relax about that. Like, if I am stressed about something, put it away for a while and then get it out later, so that it's fun to stitch on it, and it's, you know, because obviously it's not a job, right? So I think that's about all I have for you tonight, and I hope everyone's doing well and that you all continue to fill the world with love. Bye-bye.